right, so what's up? I am driving, so I've got to pay attention to traffic. Started this at a stop sign, stop light, whatever it was. Once I get through this traffic, I gotta drive safe. But I want to talk about what the medical community, Cincinnati Children's Hospital scientists, researchers did to Maddie. What the industry that worships vaccines did to Maddie. If you know who I'm talking about, or if you don't, watch Maddie's. I believe it's Ron Johnson. Senator Ron Johnson held a town hall meeting, had participants, families, who allowed their children to participate in what is called, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Cincinnati Children's Hospital is freaking mocking parents, mocking us. Just Google, search, Facebook search it. What do they call the Children's Research Trial Program at Cincinnati Children's Hospital? They call it the Gamble Program. The Gamble Program. G-A-M-B-L-E. Gamble. You don't gamble with a child's life. But they call their program to recruit children to study experimental medical procedures that are completely unnecessary because children are at risk. And the very, 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 very few who would be, it's because the industry of our food and medicine in America can't prevent something as simple as diabetes and obesity. You don't gamble with your child's life, and you will not gamble with my children. Wake up, America. Wake up, medical physicians. Listen to the mother's story of her little girl. The family states that they love science. But they got to witness firsthand that science isn't what they thought it was when it's in the hands of the pharmaceutical industry. They don't do science. They do marketing and profit generation. That's all they do. They don't care about your children's lives. They don't care about my life. They don't care about anybody's life. Example perfectly. Maddie's life destroyed. And I don't want to say that because I believe, I know that Maddie's life can be fully restored by the Lord God Almighty. But it won't be restored by the medical physicians who put her in that situation in the first place. But they deny it. Folks, listen to how ridiculous the scientific researchers at Cincinnati Children's Hospital are. Guess what they did? They allowed her to participate in the COVID vaccine trial because she was healthy, because they wouldn't allow her to participate if she was in the hospital beds with all the conditions she now has. Neurological, immunological, gastrointestinal, cardiac, all the issues she has right now. She has been in the hospital since January when they gave her the first freaking shot. You are disqualified from being allowed to participate in a research trial on a drug or vaccine if you're that sick. But now, the researchers, the Children's Hospital says to the parents, oh, this was a pre-existing condition. Prior to the vaccine, she wasn't in the hospital. This is how moronic the medical physicians are at that research center. They will do anything to protect the idol that they worship, and that is the vaccine industry. It is ridiculous that American people, that anybody, any medical physician in their right mind would say, oh yeah, do they just go from hospital bed to hospital bed to hospital bed? Do they walk around the children's hospital and ask all the patients in there with cancer, with severe neurological conditions, on feeding tubes, hey, do you want to allow your child to participate in the COVID vaccine trial? Would you like to do that? We need more participants. No, they don't. They say, we can't accept children who are already sick because we'll really find out how many children we're going to kill once it's allowed to go out to the entire population. No, they want the healthiest specimens of children so that they can downplay, disregard, and hide the potential harms because there's going to be less risk to the children who are already healthy. But it's black and white. This child was injured by the vaccine, and all the researchers, I don't know, why do we call them researchers? They're demonic, demonized individuals who want to do nothing more than make sure that they make a vaccine look good on a freaking piece of paper so that they can make profits for the big industry who funds the Children's Hospital, who funds Cincinnati University. I am irate and angry that they would even think of telling the parents that it was a pre-existing condition, that little girl was bound to a hospital bed and a feeding tube practically. And yet somehow she made it into the clinical trial. Did she hide all of her conditions? Did she lie on her paperwork? They're making it out to be that the parents and the daughter were hiding the severe illness of their little girl. Now, the parents said they love science and they're pro-vaccine. They only love science for the image that places like Cincinnati Children's Hospital make it out to be. They make science out to be this thing that is going to be this thing that saves humanity, that saves children from dying from cancer and developing diabetes. But yet cancer and diabetes are going up every single year, despite how much money we put into that industry. They believe in science because of what science is supposed to be. It is supposed to be a search for truth. But science now is nothing more than a tool and weapon of the pharmaceutical industry to destroy the lives of millions of people and deny and orchestrate lies and deception to make people believe and worship in things that have no business being injected into our bodies. They preyed upon the love of this mother and this little girl who wanted to do nothing more than do her part to try and bring society back to normal. To allow her friends to go back to school together, for her friends to play sports together, for her friends and her to play on the playground together. But now she may never be able to do that again because of them. How can they attempt to say this little girl's devastating condition of her health was a prior condition? All they need is a pen. Let me find one real quick. Let me do some research. I'll do some quality research. Let me find. I'm at a stoplight. Here. This thing right here, this little pen right here is all a researcher needs to do is to be like prior health condition. That's all they got to do. They take this little freaking pen with ink in it and they write pre-existing condition, not vaccine related, and the vaccine continues to look like it's safe and effective. That's all they need. This is not science. Science is looking at what's right in front of your eyes and happens to the children you are injecting. God, I pray this does not happen to any more children. And if Maddie and her mother They need to continue to do what they have to do to make sure they call out the corruption of the pharmaceutical industry and of the scientific community at Cincinnati Children's Hospital in that gamble program. Because what they did was, in essence, the world should be thanking Maddie for her sacrifice to show how devastating and dangerous and potentially deadly and destructive the vaccine is. Because that's what science would do if science was legitimate and honest. If it wasn't about profits and money, the love of money, science would be saying, you know what? We see what it's doing to Maddie's life, and we won't let that happen to anyone else. Let's stop it right now, not give it to anybody else, not attempt to experiment on any more children, because Maddie's life was destroyed. That would be righteous. That would be truth. That would be the right thing to do. That would be the moral thing to do. That would be the ethical thing to do. That would be honoring the sacrifice that Maddie gave. Honor Maddie and stop the vaccine program.